First up is Roman civilization. And the thing you really need to know about Roman civilization, it is based around its army. There they are, wearing skirts, but I wouldn't tell them that because they'd probably stab you. And the army was so good, they managed to conquer all that land, look, even Britain. And especially this bit around Greece, so that they could come into contact with some of the Greek medicine. They did think that medicine was for weaklings, though, really, and they were more practical people. And in fact, a lot of the doctors were brought over from Greece as slaves. But they did also steal the gods. I mean, if you look at the Roman gods versus the Greek gods, they're very similar. Even some of them had the same name, Jupiter and Zeus, similar. Or Zeus. Same guy, different name. They also had a very powerful system of government with an emperor in charge, totally in charge for a lot of the time, so stuff got done. Move, emperor, move. Knowledge of the body and disease. Well, a lot of doctors knew stuff from treating wounds at gladiator school. They wouldn't put the fear of God into me, but they were gladiators, and they obviously did a lot of training, got a lot of injuries, and then fought and got even more injuries. Dissection was not allowed, so Galen, there he is, had to do experiments on pigs and other animals, although he did manage to get hold of a couple of bodies. One of those was a guy he found hanging, and another one was some dead bodies flushed out of the sewers. Nice. They accepted the four humour theories from Greece, but didn't actually progress it much further, although they did make some progress on the theory of opposites. There was a lot of muddled thinking. Some people thought it was vapours from swamps causing disease. Some people thought it was astrology and the stars, the stars in the sky, that were causing it. So they didn't have. They had quite a muddled theory. Some people thought it was the bad vapours coming off the swamps that caused illness. Some people thought it was the little stars in the sky causing it. So the theory was, there were quite a few theories going around. Galen even got some of his knowledge about the body wrong because he had to rely on animals. For example, he thought in the heart, with the four valves, he thought blood could pass from one side to the other down the middle where the septum is. He also thought that the jawbone, there we go, there's a nice strong jawbone, he thought that was two bones together, not one, but it is actually one. Surgery, they were experts in first aid, especially the Roman army surgeons, because of the amount of fighting that they did. They did have some surgical and midwifery implements, there you go, and they did use caesarean sections to remove babies from their mother's womb, but that was normally done when the mother had already died to save the baby. They didn't have any anaesthetics, and again they only had herbal antiseptics, so surgery must have been very difficult. Next up is diagnosis and treatment. Their practical remedies were very good. And they kept up clinical observation from the Greeks, but again didn't progress it much further. a guy called should be a capital letter. Let's not be making mistakes if you're a teacher. Dioscorides. Oh, messed up again. Corides came up with this herbarium, a book of over 600 cures, which lasted for 1,000 years. Well done, Dioscorides. Galen, here's again, used the theory of opposites and progressed that a little bit. And treatment was also done at Asclepion, which the Greeks used to use as well. Here's the biggie: public health. This was the first ever system of government public health, with public baths, aqueducts, toilets, latrines, sewers, all your mod cons. They really needed a healthy army there, and that's why it was all done by the emperor, to conquer all those places. They were great engineers, obviously, to do that. They knew not to build near swamps as well. They knew, sometimes they had swamps drained, so they wouldn't camp their armies next to them either. They came up with hospitals, Roman army hospitals to treat the wounds. There you go. So yeah, everything was done to keep people healthy, prevent them from getting ill, especially the army, not to cure it. The Romans did public health the best. That's all you need to know. The best. Well, it's not all you need to know, obviously. You need to know a lot more than that, but if you remember that, that'd be good. The doctors. Galen, obviously, he was one of the doctors brought over. A lot of them, like I said, were slaves. The Romans were quite suspicious of them, even though they used to go to them quite a lot. Alexandria was a place where you could go and dissect, and he used gladiator schools as well. Remember, Galen trained at gladiator school. And there were the skilled Medici, as they were called, who treated wounds in army hospitals. You could also call them army surgeons. Right, the factors, individuals: Galen, Dioscorides, pretty much it. Technology, the surgical implements, and public health, all that, aqueduct baths, heated baths, that sort of thing. War, a huge one. Roman army, possibly even gladiators, but mainly Roman army, keeping them healthy, treating their wounds. Chance you could say that Galen was lucky to be able to work at the gladiator school. He was lucky that he had a chance to work on animals and one or two humans, but that's tenuous. Religion, again, did religion hold them back? Some people were very religious, relied on that rather than looking for the answers. The Romans did look for other cures. They did have Asclepion, which were, again, like the Greeks, places to go and heal yourself and get well. It did affect religion, whether it advanced it or not, who knows. The government did loads. Wherever they went in the empire, they made sure their army was healthy. They kept public health up. Galen wrote a lot of his stuff down, and he was still being used 1,000 years later. So obviously communication was a factor. And last one, trade. Well, trade must have been a factor, because if you look at the amount of places they went, they must have come across other herbal remedies and brought them back to Rome, because they brought everything else back to Rome: gods, and doctors and slaves. Well, there you go. That's the end of the Roman medicine bit.